Welcome to another TCGU video brought to you by the Chariot Group. My name is Bob Jackman, and in this video we're going to continue our video series on Smart Notebook training. In this video we're going to cover section 1.4, mainly the gallery and websites and how to link to them. So here's what you should be able to do at the end of this section. What we're going to look at is the gallery. And the gallery is a collection of content that you can use to add to your lesson. So pictures, interactive content, notebook pages, themes, backgrounds, that type of stuff for creating really nice looking lessons. And so the gallery is a tab on the side tabs, and it looks like this. It looks like a picture in a picture frame. So that's the second tab down. So when I click on that, it opens up the gallery. The gallery is split up into two sections. The top section is kind of the file structure where all the folders and it organizes the content. Below is the content itself, and it's organized in there by the type of content that it is, pictures or interactive and multimedia and such. So on the top, when I click on Gallery Essentials, I'm going to highlight that folder, and it's also going to show me the subfolders. On a Mac, it's going to look slightly different like this. And so we're looking mainly at that Gallery Essentials folder. Later we'll look at the My Content and the Lesson Activity Toolkit and the other ones as well. So when I click on the Gallery Essentials folder, it highlights that folder, and then it shows me all my subfolders. And on a PC, you don't need to click the plus signs. That's actually going to open it and close it really fast because of the way they set it up. So just click on the folder itself and it will expand. So with that folder selected, the Gallery Essentials folder, I'm actually looking at that folder and all of the subfolders content down below. So down below you can see I've got Gallery Essentials, 6,705 items. Pictures, I've got 5,000 items, so you can see it subdivides that content by the type. And if I click on pictures, it's going to open that up, and I can scroll through these 5,000 pictures. Now that's a lot of pictures to wade through. So what I'm going to do is come down and click on Math. And so that's going to give me a smaller view. So now I've only got 912 items and only 691 pictures. So that kind of slows that or narrows that down a little bit. So the first section we're going to look at is pictures. And when I click on the pictures, it opens that up and I see all the pictures and I can scroll through. If I scroll all the way down, you'll notice the other sections that were previously there are now there below. So whatever section you click on opens up, the other sections are still there. You just have to scroll through all the content. And so when I click on it, if I find a picture I like, I can just click and drag that picture out onto the notebook page, and then that becomes part of my lesson. So I can have the students move these around. I can make things look really nice. Here I've got a half orange or a half sandwich. So if we're talking about fractions, I can utilize those. If I'm talking about angles, fractions again, I could be pulling out some of these. Lots of different content there that you can utilize as part of your lesson that's just already there. The next section, oh, and here's some examples. So we've got a toothbrush, we've got all sorts of different images that you can browse through and see what's there. The next thing we've got is the next section. So let me scroll back up and close the pictures section. The next section below that is the interactive and multimedia section. And so that is going to consist of Flash interactive files. So those interactive content, they can do various different types of things. We've got pictures or images or other things with sound attached. And then we also have video files. The Flash and the video files are both, the video files are also based in Flash. And there is a little bit of an issue with Smart Notebook and Flash. Flash is somewhat unstable sometimes, and so in future releases of Smart Notebook, I'm currently on 15.2, future versions of Notebook are no longer going to support Flash in the future. So that may be something to be aware of, that some of that content will no longer work in future versions. There will be other things that will replace that as we go. So here's some examples of some of the ones that are in there that you can drag out. So here I've got a picture of a frog with a sound attached. If I click the sound, it'll play the sound. If I click it again, it will stop playing the sound. So we can have sound attached to those files. Here we've got a nice interactive. This is the message telling us about the Flash. This one's a nice interactive. If I click on the push pins, this has been around for quite some time. It's a nice interactive dissect the frog. So rather than go through and have to dissect a real frog and have the smell of formaldehyde, we can go through and cut this frog open and pin that down. So we can have that same experience. There's a lot of interactives like this in there. There's a lot of interactive websites as well. So the way the sounds work, if I come into Interactive and Multimedia, you'll notice that red circle with the F means those are flash interactives. If I insert a blank page here, like I can pull out the abacus, and then I can go through and click on the different things and insert that. So each one is a little bit different. If I've got one with sound attached, I can drag that out. And if I've got the speaker icon on the bottom left, I can click that and the sound will play. The next thing I can do, in addition to pictures and multimedia, or in addition to just browsing through there, is I can search. So if I come up here and I click on search, I can type in a search term. So I can type in, say, ball, and I can hit the search button, and then I can go down here and see the results of that search on the bottom. The top one will always be related folders, and I tend to not use that one because that's not very helpful most of the time. So if I come down here to pictures, then I'll see pictures of the ball, and that's typically what I'm looking for. So a lot of times teachers will click on that top link and then they can't figure out where the pictures are. That becomes really frustrating. So just click on pictures itself and you'll have much better results. Okay. There are some cases where Notebook will get installed and you'll go in there and the Gallery Essentials folder is just not there for some reason. So if that's the case, what you want to do is click on the wrench. So up here by the search, you'll click the wrench and go to check for updates. You'll do check for updates, and then you'll do Gallery Essentials. And then it'll say yes. And what will pop up is a little thing that'll allow you to check the boxes and then hit next, and it will basically download that content for you. So if for some reason you're missing that, that's how you'll add that content in. All right, next we're going to talk about linking to websites. So here I've got an icon that if I click on it will take me to a website. This website uses Java, so it's not really going to work for me right now, but you see how that works. There's this nice interactive content here if I had Java installed. So if I want to take this picture and link it to a website, what I'm going to do is first put in the picture, then I'm going to select the picture. So I click on the picture, that selects it. You'll notice the dotted line around it. And I'm going to click on my drop-down box. So when I click on the drop-down box, towards the bottom it says link. So I click on link, and that brings up this box. So I'm going to do a web page, so it's already set for that. You'll notice it's already for the address. So if I just type in an address, we'll just do google.com, keep it simple. On the bottom I have two options. I've got corner icon or object. So I'm going to do corner icon first so you can see that. When I click OK, it has linked this to that website. And so you'll notice there's a little picture of a world for the World Wide Web at the bottom left. That's what I have to click, and that will open up my link, if I can hit it right. Or not. Or I did something wrong. So that can be really tricky to try to hit that little one. So what I do instead a lot of times is, if again I select it, go to the drop down box, go to link, I can change that to object. Oh, whoops, I hit sound on accident. Let's try that again. Link. And then I can do object, click OK. So now I can click anywhere on the picture. And I tend to miss a lot less when we've got the whole picture. So that can be a little bit of a problem, which is why I don't like the link. Now the downside to doing the object is, the upside is it's a lot easier to click. I can click anywhere on the picture and it's going to open that up with no problems. The downside to that is there's no way for me to know that this is a link. And so what I usually do is put in some type of instructions so that I will know to click on that to take me to a website, or the students will know. And you may think, oh, I'm just doing this for my lesson tomorrow, I'll know that. Great, but if you want to reuse that lesson again next year, you'll open that up and you may be like, oh, just a picture. Why? This is a cool picture, but I don't really like it. I'm just going to close it. And really it was taking you to a fantastic website that you'd forgotten about. That happens to me all the time. I've left out a lot of things because of that. So that's how you link to a web page. Another thing to be aware of is on a Mac, it will look a little bit different. So up here it will say link to web page, and that's a drop-down box to get to the other options, which we'll get to later. Put in your address, corner icon or object, and then insert link. So here's another example. So click the image below. So this would be for students. Click the image below to go to the skate park website. Click the amount of friction. So this again is another Java-based website. There's lots of great interactive websites that you can do. Some are Java, some are Flash-based, and that's going to open it up in a website, or in a web browser. So that's going to work depending on your web browser settings, and that's a great way to engage the students on your smartboard. And it's easy because that content's already created. Now we can also bring the internet content into Notebook. So rather than leaving to go to another program, we can stay right within Smart Notebook. One way to do that is to insert the internet browser. So here we've got an example of a website that we've inserted, and we can pin the page. So I can click right in it. Goodbye. I can also a lot of things I can do with this as well. So besides just clicking through the content, goodbye, I can also pull some of the content out, and I'll show that to you here in a second as well. So let's get to a new page and show you how to work that. So I'm going to insert a blank page. To insert the internet browser, I could do it one of two ways. I could add that icon to my toolbar by clicking Settings. On my toolbar on the far right, click Settings, and then I'm looking for Internet browser. There it is. So I can take my internet browser and drag that up onto my toolbar, and then I can just click on that, and that will insert the the internet browser. Or I can click Insert Internet Browser, and that would insert it as well. Once I've inserted the browser itself, you'll notice I can scroll up and down to see that. I've got the address bar on the bottom, and so it's got some instructions on how to use that. I can click on the browser at the bottom, and then I can go ahead and say the web page that I want to do. And it will browse to that web page, and maybe I want to do Wikipedia on the trumpet. So I can click and find that particular website. Well, once I get to the website that I want to use, if this is the website I want to start on, I can pin this page. And so what I'm going to do is hit the one that looks like just a pin by itself, not the pin with the arrow, just the pin by itself. And if I pin that, then that becomes the kind of the home page, so to speak. So if I leave the page and come back, it's always going to start on that page that I've pinned. Also, if I go through and click a couple of links and I leave that and I want to go back to that beginning, I click the pin with an arrow, and that returns me to the pinned page back where I want it to start. If I want to adjust the size of the browser window, notice how it's a little bit large because I'm on a widescreen smartboard. I can click on the corners and I can resize that. Whoops, I just moved it. Oh yeah, I have to click and select it. So click on the edge to select it and then hit the resize on the bottom there. And I can resize that to the area that I want it to fit into. If I just click on the edges, I can move that around and put it where I'd like. So one thing I can do is resize this a little bit, put it right there. Then what I can do is in that site, I could go through and highlight content, and then I can click and drag that content out, and that becomes text as part of my page, which is a really nice way to model for students, maybe going to a site, pulling out some of the content, but maybe not taking too much, maybe just trying to pull out some of the key ideas so we can talk about taking notes and different things like that. So here's an example. Notice how I made the internet browser, resized it to fit really well. Here's my page on frogs, kind of going with that frog theme that we had earlier, and I can go through and look at that content. And that concludes this section 1.4 of our Smart Notebook training series. Look for the next section, 1.5, and please share this with others. Thanks for watching.